Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm gonna be testing the entire Splinter Cell franchise on the Steam Deck. So I have Splinter Cell 1, Chaos Theory, Devil Agents, Conviction, and Blacklist. As you can see, Pandora Tomorrow is not here. That's because it's been delisted everywhere a while back. So I had to go to the high seas to get it. So yeah, unavailable to get digitally, so you gotta do what you gotta do. Due to the age of all these games, we're going to need widescreen fixes for the native resolution. I'm going to teach you how to use all of these once we're into each of the games. So please be patient. If you want to skip that, no problem. So let's get into it. We're starting with the first in the series, Splinter Cell. This one has issues with shadows. They don't look the same as before. You need dgVodoo to make it work. Unfortunately, on the Steam Deck it's very hard to set up, at least with my small experience on Linux. So you'll need to download a patch for widescreen so you can get the proper UI and resolution. You gotta download it, paste that in the games folder on desktop mode, and then just put this in the launch options so the mod works. Then you can play it just fine using the Steam Deck's native resolution. You can also super sample if you select 920 by 1200 in that config file. Links for all that and this command in the description if you want to just copy and paste. So let's get now into the game. The controls, there is a custom controller scheme made by the community. I recommend you use it. In control settings, go to controller settings. And this person here in community layouts, Struja, made a keybind for all this, so it emulates a mouse and keyboard. Has pretty good a pretty good layout, as you can see here. So it maps keyboard controls to the Steam Deck controls. So we're going to be playing with that. And for the settings, let me show you right away. If you go here to graphics, it's native resolution and everything cranked up.
I tell you what you already know.
And as you can see, there's one core maxed out. Some of the visuals on the lighting especially are missing. You need dgVodoo for that. But as you can see, the UI is fine. The resolution is the Steam Deck native. But if you want to fix the shadows and the lighting and all that, you can do it just fine. The game still looks great though. And I'm using the Steam Deck controls. And they work pretty well actually, I'm surprised. To move faster or slower you need to use the bumpers, so if I spam the bumpers I move faster, left bumper I go slower. So yeah, it works perfectly. Although sometimes it feels like the game isn't running at 60, I feel some slowdown sometimes despite not being shown in the overlay, but it looks good despite having the missing lighting. But again, I want this to make this as easy as possible for the average user. So I know most of you guys will only use a widescreen fix as a maximum, so keep that in mind. Since I have more games to cover, we're going to now swap into the Steam Deck's... Whoa, I died. Wrong button. So let's swap to the handheld mode so you can see the Steam Deck screen in real life. Alright guys, so we're now in handheld, so you can see how it looks in real life. If you super sample, you're going to notice less jaggies, but overall, looks amazing on the small screen. Less noticeable shimmering, which is always good. And sorry, it's focusing on my face, not on the actual game. There we go. And my reflection is there. Hang on. Yeah, it's at maximum brightness. But if you use night vision, it's less obvious. So there we go. Again, sorry for the reflection. But it still looks great. Blows my mind I can portably play this game. Considering I played it on the PS2, which was an inferior version of this. Anyway. So yeah, this is the issue with games that are visually super dark. You get a reflection. So yeah. I think that's all I can show you on this one. Runs fine. Missing lighting effects due to the dgVodoo or VGVodoo thing that you need to install. That takes more effort on Steam Deck, unfortunately, but you can still do it if you want to. And battery life, as you can see with 95% battery, is basically 3 hours. So you should be good. Let's jump into the next one. Alright guys, now Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow. This one is not available digitally. I had to get it from the high seas. This is added as a non-Steam game, but I put some nice artwork, so it looks like it's on Steam, but it's not. So, not even on Ubisoft Connect. So yeah, Ubisoft is doing a terrible job preserving this title. And it requires some mods to look properly. So the mods are again in the description, and I had to add another launch option, which is this. And actually this one, the fix I found includes the dgVodoo thing, so make sure to put it like this. This is in the description if you want to copy and paste. Works great. And make sure compatibility is on Proton Experimental. Remember, this is a non-Steam game, so without selecting this manually, the game will not launch. Then for controls, I used this one, Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow deck controls. For this to show up, guys, make sure that the name of the game is listed like this. Otherwise, it won't show up, the control schemes. And once you do that, jump into the game. You have set the resolution in the config file like I showed you from the mod I downloaded. This will say 640 by 480, but it's not, so ignore this. And let's get into the game, shall we? This one, by the way, is a game that without dgVodoo, the visuals are way more broken than on Splinter Cell 1. This is why on this one I made an exception and downloaded a version that has the dgVodoo pre-installed. I haven't found something similar on Splinter Cell 1, but as you can see, look at those shadows. It's insane that a game from this era has this level of quality on shadows. It blows my mind. Make sure to lock it at 60 though. But I mean, look at this, it's insane. This graphics in games like this, the lighting was ahead of its time, definitely. Still not perfect, there are some issues with popping of the shadows, but it works properly, as you can see. I would lower the mouse sensitivity though in the options menu, because the stick to move the camera feels a little bit too fast. So keep that in mind. Oh, wrong button. Dang it. Anyway. So let's now swap into handheld mode. As you can see, you can also super sample this if you go to the config file of the mod. So yeah, let's swap into handheld mode. Alright guys, we're back now. I advanced a little bit into the game. As you can see, the lighting is still beautiful. Jaggies are less obvious due to the smaller screen, but you can still do super sampling if you want to. I recommend 1920 by 1200. But I mean, it works great. Lockpicking requires WASD, but you can still do it with the emulated control. There we go. You can also use optic cable as usual. Yeah, all seems good. I forgot how to go back. There we go. And again, dark games make my reflection more obvious. But I mean, look at the lighting. Look at that shadow, man. How the hell did they pull this off back then? Insane. Yeah, no. It always blows me away. I cannot stress it enough. No, that's not correct. I hate autofocus. There we go. That should do.
Before you infiltrate the embassy, let me reintroduce DP Brunton, our interagency consultant. He's
So
got an update.
even the shadows move in real time.
Excited to be part of the team. The Joint Chiefs want this mission kept non-lethal and alarms at flat zero.
Non-lethal, ha!
Danger the hostages.
Understood. And with some due respect, leave anything Lambert can say to Lambert. I don't want the voices in my head to become a crowd.
Get inside the embassy. This situation is delicate and largely unknown.
So yep,
Softly.
interesting. Too bad it's not on Steam. There are mods to make it work properly. As you can see, it looks beautiful. Too bad Ubisoft doesn't want us to buy it from them. So yeah, I cannot provide links for it. I'm sorry, guys. It's against TOS. I just remember I got it from the high seas. That's all. Alright, guys. Yet another incompatible game according to Valve. Chaos Theory. So what do you need to do with this one? Same as before. After you download those patches and put the resolution in the config file, you need to add this. Again, in the description if you want to copy and paste, so the mod actually works. Once you do so, the controls are from this guy, Curtis G2000. So it makes it like the Xbox controls, and it has analog movement sticks. So if you move the stick slowly, Sam will walk slower, which is like in the original. So in the options, you have to use your trackpad to move around. 800p, as you can see. Advanced shader model, remember this? Pretty old school. Shader options, everything on. Anisotropic filtering 16 times, highest shadow resolution. Everything is on the highest. And I enabled this, but I'm not sure if I have to. If I have to turn this off, I'll let you know in the description. So you save that, and you go back into the game. Oh, I can quit the game from here. What the hell? And here we are. Chaos Theory. Everyone's favorite Splinter Cell. So if I move it slowly, I walk. I can also run. The shadows are there without any emulation that has to be done. Yeah, everything looks perfect here. So let's move on. This is the very beginning of the game. And I would say this is the closest one to the Xbox version without lots of tweaks necessary. Only the widescreen fix, so the UI is correct and the aspect ratio is not broken. And it's very easy to set up and play. You just need to copy and paste some files, put the config file with the resolution you desire, and you're good to go.
I think Gorilla. I think Kalashnikov.
What do you mean?
I've had enough AKs fired at me in
So
my
yeah,
time to tell you
as
that
you can see, it
wasn't
looks great.
Alright. See if there's anything unusual going on with their equipment.
But lock it to 60 frames. You can also unlock the frame rate if you want to, but really, I mean, you get 200 FPS. And the animations on some things are broken, so 60 FPS is enough. Let's jump into handheld. Okay guys, welcome back. We're now looking at the Steam Deck screen. Hopefully it's focused correctly. As you can see, I need the mouse to interact with the menu. But here we are. Look at this. Looks so awesome. Oh, I forgot to... dang it. Okay. Let me select the proper gun for the job. I forgot the controls. I'm so sorry, guys. That was a terrible idea. Let's grab him. Gotcha.
Didn't anyone ever tell you that spelunking is dangerous?
Let's get the other guy.
Only
Weapons are super imprecise in this game, but I'm going to give it a shot. Yeah, no, they're super... Oh, never mind. Got him.
Some of you guys are real helpful. Why do you have to work for the bad guys?
Nice work, Sam. We got him. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Then this conversation is over.
Please don't kill me. Please.
It looks amazing. I mean, it still holds up to this day. Look at the lighting. I know I'm saying this a lot, but Jesus Christ, how did they do this back in the OG Xbox and PS2 era? On the PS2 it looked much worse. That was the first time I played it. When I played this on the PC, it blew my mind. I was missing out. In South America, Xbox, OG Xbox wasn't a thing, really. Very difficult. It wasn't popular. PS2 everything, basically. So yeah, once I got into PC gaming and I played this, I had to finish it again. Blew my mind. Ah, the memories. First time I saw this lighting outside of the PS2. I think this is one of the reasons I started liking analyzing graphics and performance.
The SSCC code is lot 1 of 5. See if you can find the other 4.
I'll do my
Such a leap in visuals. I'm happy that they are working on a remake. Hopefully they don't screw it up. Anyway, let's jump into the next one, shall we? Alright guys, before I launch Splinter Cell Devil Agent, one of the worst PC ports ever, it's absolutely broken. But you can improve the visuals because the options menu is broken by opening Splinter Cell 4.ini. This is where it is. Link in the description again for what values to put in here, but it's an absolute pain. So if you want to do it, go for it. But I recommend you do not play this one. So let's get into the game. All right, back into the game. So let's go to display. With the mod, the display resolution won't show up, which makes sense. And this will be the next gen stuff. But this doesn't really do much. All we needed was already tweaked in the config file. Still, the game doesn't look the best. So yeah, you're playing a very inferior version of this. And there's custom controls. So let's go up. If I remember the controls, there we go. Let's just get him. I'm not waiting for him.
Is everything okay?
I thought we were just here
There
for
we go.
observation.
Reduce to
There have
atoms.
been slight changes.
So as you can see, there is some reflection on the snow. This is due to the tweak to the config file. If this wasn't tweaked, it will be a flat
If that's the case,
texture, white texture, without this nice bump mapping that's going on with a cube map.
Possible. We're in too deep. The
Same
mission
here
must
with
go.
the highlights, the specular highlights on the ground. And the shadows. Pretty low resolution shadows. But if you tweak the options menu manually, if you went through that, you have no shadows. So suit yourself. You need to do those tweaks.
The current on this fence is live.
Okay, reduce to atoms. But the game itself runs well, as you can see, at least so far. And if you can see here, shadows in here are pretty good. So please do those adjustments. Otherwise the game will look even worse than the PS3 360 versions, which by the way drop into the 20 FPS mark pretty often. Let's get going. And this is one of the parts when once you get over here, you're going to see a building into the distance with a big draw distance, and that basically killed performance for me in most games. In this game, when I played it on PC. So yeah, let's get up here. But again, I think the game looks visually good, considering its age, but it's a terrible PC port, and I'll show you why in a moment. I here. Well, this is the part that runs the worst on the PS3. Although there's a part of the building that is missing, I think. Yeah, I think this building was much taller. Not sure if I'm remembering correctly. Anyway. So this part on the PS3 ran at like 20 FPS. So let's jump into handheld now. Welcome back. Now we're in handheld mode, which again performs the same as being plugged to a monitor. Let's get back in there. Here in the same spot as a moment ago. And yeah, the color is freaked up. Much better. So let me slow down a bit. I'll get this guy rather quickly. Oh, hasn't he noticed me yet? Okay, I couldn't grab him. I messed up there. But as you can see on the Steam Deck screen, again, like the other games, especially, this one doesn't have anti-aliasing on, I think. I tried it from the config file, but it broke the shadows. So, yeah, more broken stuff. Broken stuff galore. Okay, let me see if I remember how to swap guns. There we go. There we go. Okay, so there was an enemy close to here, if I remember correctly. Oh yeah, there's a camera. Somewhere. Okay, doesn't matter. This is going to be a short one. As you can see, some graphical glitches. Where's the enemies? But the game looks okay. I would say comparable to the PS3 360 era version, with some visual improvements, but some bugs as well. Let's give him a taste. Taste. Reduced to atoms. Dead. You want to be tased? Gotcha. And as you can see, it drops below 60 still while looking that way. But when I do that, it usually maxes out one core. But to finish this part of the video, you can aim down sights in certain weapons, but once you do so, the game crashes. So let's crash the game aiming down sights. And there it goes. So I might do a separate video because there's another double agent game that is it was released for PS2, GameCube, and the original Xbox. That one is not the same as this one. That one is from the Splinter Cell Chaos Theory developers. Personally, I think it's superior to this one because, well, performs better, first of all, looks worse, yeah, but I think it still captures what Splinter Cell is all about. So if you can emulate it on the Steam Deck, I highly recommend that. I'm not doing that in this case because it's out of the scope of this video, but I might do a separate video just testing emulators, so you can check that out. So yeah, Double Agent, you can play it, bugs here and there, needs lots of work in the config file to make it look correct. It crashes, especially when aiming down sights. So I recommend the emulated version if you want to play that. It's a much better experience. So let's jump into the next one. So now Splinter Cell Conviction. This one I would say is also another terrible PC port. But if you want to play it on Steam Deck, on SteamOS, when you click play, this will happen. Hold on a moment. The game basically crashes on startup, which it's okay, whatever. The thing is, you need to replace a few files for Steam Deck support. The thing is, when you launch the game, you'll be with a huge stutter fest. The game is basically unplayable, at least in my opinion, because it doesn't use all the threads of your CPU. You have to force it. There are commands that do that, but each time you finish a level and go into a cutscene, that resets, so you get bad performance again. So let's get into Windows, where this process is way easier to achieve. Okay, now we're on Windows and I installed Conviction in here through Steam. Go to the game's main folder where it's the executable. Go to convictionuserpc.ini, and what you'll find is this. Make sure that iFinity mode is on 0. This should help you quite a bit. So yeah, let's get into the game. So once you launch the game, you'll get this. The operating system is not supported. Gotcha. Click on yes. You can continue anyway. And I'm going to skip when we get into the menu, so you can see without waiting. Okay guys, we're now into the game. And as you can see, even when looking at a wall, if I look at the floor, I get 60s, but if I look at something important, by the way, this is high settings, but I'm going to lower it. If I look into a general direction of detail, well, you get this. Also happens on SteamOS, but it's easier to tweak stuff on Windows for this one. So yeah, this is terrible. So let me try a quick fix, which is forcing all the cores to actually do stuff. The GPU is not being fully utilized, so for this we pause the game. We go here to the task manager, and in Conviction game, you can go into details, and in Conviction game, right click, go to Affinity, and as you can see, half of the cores are not assigned, which doesn't make sense. So check this box, all processors, click OK, go back into the game. It'll take a few seconds. Hopefully it doesn't crash. Okay. And as you can see, it's still bad. Unless I look into the distance. So let's try lowering the settings. This on my main computer was a huge issue. I have an i7 13700 non-K. And I had the same issue, but when I enabled all the cores, it was fine. So in this case, it doesn't seem to help at all. Which is pretty ridiculous. So this is again a huge example of a bad PC port. This is one of the demanding ones because you get stuff into the distance, but there's a level in Washington DC that is absolutely unplayable. So yeah, if it's like this on Windows, imagine how it is on SteamOS. So Affinity, it's all the cores again, so shouldn't be an issue. I'm going to do a classic, put it at high priority, but again, doesn't make the game playable in most instances. So at the lowest settings, if I get closer to the mansion, it'll improve, as you can see there.
So what's on the schedule for
Forgot how to play, I'm sorry guys. Oh mind, I do remember. So, see, now that I'm here, it doesn't drop. But if I look into the distance, it does. So does it work? Yes. Properly? Nah. It's inconsistent as hell. Oh yeah. I really like this game. It's not the best in the franchise by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, it's an action game. Let me very quickly show you the Washington part that I was talking about. I mean, look at this! Anyway, let's skip to the Washington part. Okay, now I'm in the Lincoln Memorial part, and well, spoiler alert, still problematic, very much so. So while some levels will improve in this regard on the performance side, this is just absolutely unplayable, considering the inconsistency about it. So bad PC port from this time. It works on higher end computers if you enable all the cores, but each time you go into a cutscene, the core affinity gets reset. So here I just went through a cutscene, and look at the affinity is back to half the cores. So I have to go all processors, okay, each freaking time I finish a level or go through a cutscene. So yeah, absolutely ridiculous. Hopefully one day we get a patch for this. I'm not holding my breath, just avoid it on Steam Deck. Unless you're fine by locking it to 30 and having drops into the 20s randomly. So yeah, let's jump into the next one. And finally, Splinter Cell Blacklist. So this is one that I sunk lots of hours into, but let's get into the settings. 800p, 16:10 without letterboxing. Then in the settings, ultra textures, high shadows for performance reasons, VSync off, ambient occlusion on field AO, but I think you can get away with SSAO. If you want a little bit more battery, keep it here, but let's put this on. FXAA, DX11, and let's get into it. So once you launch this game, if you have it on Steam, it'll install Uplay, and each time you get into the game, it'll ask you to log in. So you have to put your Uplay password each time you launch the game, which is super annoying. But with the Steam sleep feature, that shouldn't be an issue. You just pause the game, lock the screen, it will be in sleep mode, and you can go back. This is the part that I got some of the worst performance out of. After this is way easier on the GPU. So yeah, just to show you that, I want to show you some action on handheld mode, because this on the Steam Deck screen is absolutely incredible.
Bathroom, you got one?
So yeah, let's skip into that section now. But as you can see, visually looks incredible considering its age. Again, in my opinion, this is not even Unreal Engine 4, this or 3. This Unreal Engine 2 point something. So same engine they've been using for a while with heavy changes. And it still looks incredible and runs well. So yeah, props to them. Let's skip ahead. But I played this game so many times. This is one of the games that I finished on Perfectionist. Now I'm playing at a lower difficulty just for video footage settings. There's no takedowns for that. Sorry, no takedowns. No multiple enemy kills. With that supernatural ability to kill lots of enemies very quickly. This ability in Perfectionist is gone. The game is just teaching me how to play here. But I love that I can play without being detected if I wanted to. Not like in Conviction, that basically killing the enemies was a must. So yeah, I can sneak around, I can knock them out if I want to. Oh man, and those shadows. Yeah, this is why I like this game so much. It doesn't force me to be playing action. I can go stealth if I want to, and in different ways.
Is there a viable stealth approach?
Go into the room to your right, out the window and traverse the ledge.
Nice work.
Okay, I'm waiting for him to show up here. Haha, screw you. But this one, I unlocked basically everything. Unfortunately, since I had a Uplay copy, I installed it on Steam to show you more easily how it works. But if you have the game on Uplay, you can install Ubisoft Connect and it'll work right out of the box, as long as you launch it through Ubisoft Connect. You enjoyed it as much as I did revisiting Splinter Cell. So regarding all the games I tested, man, it requires work if you want to play this. The latest ones like Blacklist, super easy. You just get into the game, enjoy yourself, just log into Uplay. But then the others, Conviction is absolutely unplayable. You can try tweaking it, but I didn't have luck with it, let's say. I couldn't make it be properly played, to say it in some way. So please avoid Conviction. Then the first Splinter Cell, well, you need a widescreen fix, but it doesn't fix the lighting. You need to install the Voodoo emulator, which sucks because on the Steam Deck is harder to install. You can do it, but it requires work. And I know most people are not going to go through that effort. You need to be a hardcore fan, I think, or an enthusiast. Then Pandora Tomorrow is not available, so you gotta get it from the high seas, but I cannot provide a link, so apologies, but it's the nature of how things work. And then that one also requires patches, but it's easy to fix, luckily. Just follow what I had in the description. Double Agent is a terrible PC port, but you can play it. It crashes very often. And, well, Chaos Theory just needed a widescreen fix, which was very easy to install. And I'm missing something, I think. Hang on. Okay, so yeah, Chaos Theory with the widescreen fix that is easy to install, you should be good. Conviction is terrible. Double Agent is a terrible PC port, crashes very often. Pandora Tomorrow, you need to sail the high seas. Splinter Cell 1, widescreen fix, but lighting is broken in many levels, and I'm going to die. Conviction, don't even try. And Blacklist works great. You can play at 60 frames, it's very enjoyable, and it features real controls, like when it was out on 360 and PlayStation 3. And you get like over 90 minutes of battery, I would say. So yeah, and it looks great, considering it's not even Unreal Engine 3. So this was a great attempt, in my opinion. Too bad we didn't get any follow-up. But again, just play this one and Chaos Theory, and you should be good. The other ones, I would say too much work. So thank you for watching, and I'll see ya next time. Bye guys.